Hi everyone, welcome back to our conversation on dancing into maturity. And today I am here with Helen, who is best known for her work with Belly Dancers of Australia Facebook page, but she is also very well known in the local community, and especially in the small town of Glen Innes, where she is known as Neela, the belly dance teacher and shimmy mob leader. And she and her group are invited to perform regularly at community events and are known for bringing the fun and colour. And I know Helen is also a staple on our belly dance community events as well. So, if you go to an event, Helen's likely to be there, or at least a representative. Welcome, Helen. Thank you so much for talking to me today, or talking with me today.
Thanks for the invitation, Kylie. Really appreciate it.
Okay, so I guess we'll get straight into the questions. And question one is, because I'd like to talk with you about community, because that's the thing that you've really got going. You've started this community page for us on Facebook, which is a wonderful resource that everybody can just go to find out what's going on. It also highlights and showcases dancers from around Australia and keeps us up to date on what's happening on the scene. So thank you so much for doing that, because it is a big job to curate. I understand that. So in terms of community, what demographic are most of your students?
Well, I would have said last year that my students ranged from very late 40s through to late 70s. I have recently, however, attracted a couple of younger women to the group, but I've also attracted more in that demographic. So we range from 30s, but the majority of the dancers are 50s and 60s, and we do have a couple in their 70s.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. So what is it that attracts women, do you think, in the older demographic to your school in particular?
I think because we're a really friendly bunch and we just encourage people to come and have fun with us. But I also think because we come in all shapes and sizes and obviously ages, and I think that they can see that everyone is welcomed. And we've had a man join us for dancing for a little while, and we have people with various physical ability, and we just adapt and give them options that work for them. And in fact, at the moment, I'm teaching the Shimmy Mob ESA choreography, and I'm teaching the seated version because I've got a few people who just can't manage the steps. It's a Latin fusion, so it's very steppy. So a few of them have decided to go with the seated option. So I think that sort of thing means that everybody knows that it doesn't matter if you're not young and you're not supple and you're not flexible. It's okay. We'll find a variation that works for you. And so I think that's what attracts us. I guess too, the fact that we're quite prominent in the community and everybody knows who we are now, and so they kind of know who we are and they know they can come up and have a chat with us and join in.
Yeah, I think that's so nice. When you're out in the community, giving that access to women who might not have seen that, or being out there consistently too, so they go, I really like to be part of that. Yeah. And what you project, as I see on social media too, is a really positive and fun and very inclusive community base that you have there. It's quite beautiful. So what is your secret, do you think, to retention? Like, how long have your students been dancing with you, and what makes them stay?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how long it is, because it's probably about 6 years ago that I was asked to do a one-off lesson um, and and it kind of grew from there. But for a long time, I was only doing, the occasional workshop, or we'd get together one Sunday afternoon a month. It wasn't really that regular. And then, of course, just when I was about to make it more regular, COVID came, and so put a bit of a kibosh on that. But now that I'm teaching weekly classes, I'm getting more people coming. But some of the women have been dancing with me from the very, very beginning. And they have no intention of going anywhere. And they often say, Helen, I'm just going to, if I need to, I'm going to start sitting down. And if I need to, I'm going to stop dancing and start drumming or zilling, or I'm just going to do something, but you're never going to get rid of me. Of course, there's some people that come along and it's not for them.
Yeah.
And so, some have come and gone, and some we see occasionally, but not regularly. But I think those that stick with it, it's because we've kind of made our own community. And they're such a friendly group of people. I recently had a woman call me and say, I'm thinking about coming along to one of your classes. And I encouraged her. I said, come along. I said, see what you think. But trust me, you will be made very welcome in the group. And at the end of the night, she said, I don't think I can come very often because I have to drive home in the dark. She said, but I have had such a lovely time, and I've never met a friendlier bunch of women.
Oh, that's so
So
beautiful.
that's really lovely to hear. Yeah. And I think too, Glen Innes is a town where a lot of people have lived here all their lives, but there are newcomers to town, and sometimes it's hard for newcomers to feel welcomed. And that's something that I've also experienced, is that some of the people who have only just arrived in town have come along and they're just made welcome, like they're part of the group, and that's what works for us.
Yeah. So what do you think is, having built a successful community yourself, and having attracted these positive community based or community focused women or men to the group, what do you think is the secret to creating community?
Um, it's hard to know, really, because I don't know that I actually set out to do any of it deliberately. So I'm not really sure how any of it happened. But I think part of it is that I am a friendly person, and I am an inclusive person. Like, I'm friends with lots of people, and I make everyone welcome in the space. And I guess too that means that, by example, everyone else is the same in that group. They know there's some of them that socialize outside of group. There's some that don't, and we sometimes do social things outside of dance class. Like tonight, for example, there's a few of us going to see Barbie, because that's what you do when you're a belly dancer.
Oh.
You get dressed up in pink and you go and have your photo taken and go and see a movie. So we do all sorts of other things like that. And so I guess that's part of it. I think I make a point of speaking to everyone when they arrive in class and saying goodbye to everybody as they leave class. That kind of helps. We occasionally do, to start our class, we occasionally will have like a circle where we'll share something about how our week's going, or how we're feeling, or what we're expecting to get out of class, or that kind of thing. So it's not just the steps.
Yeah, it's not just the dance, it actually becomes like a circle.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you hit on a good point there too of, I guess, diversifying, because there would be a lot of people who are scared to do the dance and to be out there with the dance, but want to feel part of a community. And it's nice to have things that they can do if they're not confident with dancing, but they can still be involved in. And I
Yes.
found that even with starting a drumming group, some people are very confident with sitting and drumming, but not dancing.
Exactly. And we do a little bit of drumming as well. The shimmy mob also helps in that, shimmy mob means they can be involved in the group, they can be involved in the fundraising, they can come along on the day and hold the fundraising bucket, or press the button on the music machine, or take the photos, or just speak to the audience. They don't actually have to perform if they don't want to. So I do have some people who come to class regularly, thoroughly enjoy dancing in the class, have no intention of performing,
Yeah.
and that's perfectly okay, and they're made just as welcome as anybody else, because we always need support crew.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? Those people have no idea how important they actually are because if everyone's dancing, who's our audience?
Exactly.
Yeah, a little segue onto that is how can we broaden our appeal to the wider community with belly dance? What sort of things? And I know that within the community itself, you've already created a lot of options, but on a broader spectrum, because it feels like belly dancing for a while stagnated, and it feels like now we've got an opportunity, having been locked up, that people want to get out and they want to do things and they want to experience more. So how do you see us taking advantage, not taking advantage, but capitalizing on that mindset of encouraging women to come into something that might be a little left of center and growing the belly dance community in Australia?
Well, I think a lot of it is being seen. So actually getting out there and having people see us, watch us, have fun. And that is the biggest feedback I ever get from a community audience is you all look like you're having so much fun. And I say to my performers when we're going on, I go, it doesn't matter if you muck it up, just do it with a smile on your face. No one expects us to be perfect. We're a group of older dancers where we're not professional dancers, and we don't profess to be. We're here to have a bit of fun. We're here to make the audience have a bit of fun with us. I said, so put a smile on your face and give it your best shot, and that's exactly what we do. The audience really responds to that. So I think being seen means that they know who we are and they think about coming in and being involved. And you know, they do or they don't. Sometimes they come and try it out, sometimes they don't. I have, in my latest class offerings, made it very much drop-in friendly. So I've said, there's kind of two parts to what we do. And the first part, you don't need to remember the steps. You don't. It's just having some fun. And the second part is about choreography and performance. And so some people stay for 2 hours, some just stay for an hour. They feel like it's the pressure is off them. They don't have to commit to anything. They don't have to turn up every week. They just turn up when they want to and they have a bit of fun. And I try and use a variety of music and a variety of steps and stuff, so it keeps interesting. And I think just being welcoming and being seen is probably the best way, because when people see us having fun, they kind of go, "Oh, I want a bit of that."
Yeah, and I guess a big part of that too, to broaden that appeal is through using platforms like social media and putting things out there on your pages and little clips and those fun photos. And yeah, it creates another avenue or a group, and also for women, I think, who are in an older demographic who are often pigeonholed into, other types of activities, I call seniors week activities, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And this dance is so inclusive in terms of age.
It is. We've also recently started doing some shimmy mob fundraisers, and we're doing sip and shimmy nights. And we found that we don't get a huge number of people, and a lot of them are people we already know, but we get a couple of extras each time that are just going to kind of check out what we're doing, in a way that doesn't commit them to doing a dance class.
Yes.
That just commits them to coming along and having a bit of fun. And the feedback from that's been really positive as well.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea because we know the popularity of paint and sip type of
Exactly.
classes, but yeah, that's a fabulous idea and a great incentive, like in the community, to come along without that pressure. And I think that's the difference between the professional side of our dance and the community side, because that's where the heart of the dance actually really is, and that's where it sprung from, the community dance, and then to the stage. So I love what you're doing with the community in
Mhm.
terms of how you're nurturing that, like not only in your own school, but also through the Facebook page.
Mm. One of the other things that's happened recently is one of the other dance teachers who teaches at the high school, she was asked to put together a group of performances for the Glen Innes show last year, which was they'd not had a dance stage before, but she was asked to put it together. And the first thing she said was, "Oh, well, we'll be getting the belly dancers to come." She said, "Because I want the little kids, the older kids, the young adults, but I also want the older ladies." She said, "Because those little kids need to see that you don't have to stop dancing when you leave school."
And I love that. I love
I
that
thought that
so
was a
much.
fabulous thing. I was like, yes, that's so good to know.
And
And
also,
so we had all the
it changes
different
their
age
minds
groups.
about like what old people
That's
are
right.
and what old people do as well.
Yep. So it's been really good because we are they've just started some salsa classes, but other than that, for a long time, we've been the only dance class that's available to adults. So there's lots of kids stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really good to be included. So we had everything from like 2 year olds through to my 79-year-old dancer on the same stage. And it
Oh,
was fabulous.
so is there anything else you would like to add in terms of, you know, community and belly dance, Helen?
I think I think as far as the wider belly dance community is concerned, I think that the events that are happening all around the country, and there's so many of them at the moment, which is fabulous. I think it's great. But what I did really enjoy, and I'm sure you'll appreciate this, is the Australian Belly Dance Convention, including non-movement activities.
Yes.
Whereas so many of them have, so many of the events have it all about dance class. It was really nice to have that real variety. But what I noticed is that that's becoming a little bit more common. There's been a few talks involved in the Southwest Rocks event, and my upcoming event is going to have a section that's more about learning rather than moving, more about learning more about musicality and music. And I think it's slowly started, but the Australian Belly Dance Convention really made it to the forefront and pointed out that you can have a really successful event and, in fact, not attend an event and have a fabulous time and not actually dance. Because
Yes.
I actually worked it out. I did one movement class in the whole weekend. But I was all sorts of things and doing all sorts of things, and it was really a different experience. And I think that too makes it a little bit more accessible because some of us, when we get a bit older, can't really do the 3 or 4 dance workshops in a row. So it's really good when we can have the options to do something else and still be part of the community.
Actually, funny thing is, I only did one other, oh no, two movement classes apart from my own, and all the rest, I was so interested in hearing discussions and seeing presentations because, you know, the culture is a huge part of our dance too, and I think in the past it's been somewhat overlooked, and it's an expectation that teachers teach everything, but we don't all know everything. So it was a beautiful opportunity to be able to share that, and to experience that and to hear other people's experiences and knowledge in the subject. And that in itself, I believe, is another way that we can actually broaden our appeal to the community and also give ourselves and this dance that we love, we can give belly dance, I guess, a more validation, more weight in the community, because, you know, it's still got this reputation from, you know, leftover of James Bond movies and, you know, bad stereotypes. And it's so much richer than that. So I really welcome these types of events. And I think they are great for communities in general. And as you said, especially for older dancers and even older dance teachers who are tired by the weekend and they
Yeah.
have to go back and teach classes again. And, you know, I know myself, I don't always want to just keep on doing physical stuff. on the weekend. I need that respite, but I love the brain food.
Exactly. Yes. And, during COVID, it was fabulous. There was a lot of that stuff available online, but it's just really nice to do some of that stuff in person as well.
Yeah, because you get to actually really ask questions and be amongst a group and yeah, different experience.
Yes. And I think too, as we get older, I think we become more curious about this sort of stuff too. We become, particularly if we've been dancing for a while, I think we it becomes more of a lifestyle than a hobby, to some extent. In that you start to get immersed in the culture. You want to know more about the history. You want to understand more about the music, and that's a really good thing as we mature as dancers, not necessarily according to our age, but how long we've danced.
Yes.
We might want to move into more of that understanding, and that the geeky stuff, I guess. I think I am a bit of a belly dance geek, and that sort of geeky stuff, I love it. And the longer I dance, the more I love it. And so I think that's another part of maturing as a dancer, is that you want to get all of that other information, not just the physicality of it.
Yeah, and I think that this is a very important role for more mature dancers and people who have been in this, like mature as in the mind or the body, um, that they have a role to play even as they get older. And even if they're not doing as much dancing, that knowledge base doesn't dissipate. It's still there. And there's so much richness we can gain from listening to other women's stories and experiencing life through the eyes of other people. Yeah.
Definitely. Yes, so bring it on. More of the variety, more of the talking, the presentations, as well as the dance, and make it more holistic, and
Yeah.
more and richer and deeper.
Yeah. And yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that it's something that allows us to immerse ourselves, but and it's not just for the older dancers, for the younger dancers coming through. It shows learning never stops.
Exactly.
We're perpetual students in this art, always something more to learn. And I've learned a lot from you today, Helen. So thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me. And
It's been a pleasure.
it has been an absolute pleasure for me, I must admit. So yeah, I will see you around, I'm sure,
I'm sure.
multiple community events in the future. And I love what you're doing and keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kylie. Bye.